Hello, hi everybody. It's Colleen with Couture. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend this weekend. It was finally a beautiful one here in New Jersey, and I really hope it was for everyone else where you are. So we are just going to go ahead and start tonight's project. And it's going to be an inking project on a pillowcase that, it's a Couture pillowcase. And they're canvas pillowcases, which are pretty awesome. They've got the little zipper down here. Pop your pillow in your insert inside. And the nice thing about the pillowcases are that you can get some of the dye and change the color of them. It takes to that very well. So if you're wanting to change out to match your pillowcases to your home decor, then you simply just get, I want to say it's called, I think it's RIT, if I'm saying that correctly. And then you can just change out the color of the canvas pillowcase. I'm going to keep it the regular canvas color because it actually matches my couch pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and use Worry Less, Love More tonight. I'm going to keep it very simple and just do it in black ink. So we went ahead and we wrote what the transfer is on the back. Now when inking, I definitely do not fuzz my transfer because I want that nice tight seal. Our transfers are sticky. And when inking, like I said, I definitely want a nice tight seal there so I don't fuzz it. If I were going to use this on a chalkboard or glass or mirror or something like that, along that nature with paste, our chalk paste, then I would definitely fuzz it up. But because we are using it on canvas, I want that nice tight seal to avoid any bleeding. So what I will do is I'll just grab my little squeegee and I'm going to try to get out, and you'll hear, can you guys hear that? It sounds like ripping paper sound. That's how I know I'm getting a nice tight seal. It's really pushing down on my transfer, and I'm getting out any issues, any bubbles, anything. I definitely want that nice tight seal. Oops. Should keep it in one direction. That probably would be good. That was the heat press warming up because that's how fast tonight's project's going to be. I am literally going to just take my ink and cover the silkscreen area. Hopefully I got it on there. Good. And that is all there is to it. I'll show you step by step. Very, very simple to do, and you do not need a lot. This is our black velvet ink. I like to ink in one direction. So either left to right or top to bottom. It just helps to, and maybe it's just a mental thing, but for me, I feel like it helps to prevent any bleed through. So we're just going to get a nice thin layer on there, just getting any excess back off, and then I can use that excess to kind of keep moving forward. Like I said, it does not require a lot of ink. Our ink is very thin. The chalk paste has a little bit more thicker consistency, but the ink is definitely a thinner consistency, which is perfect. Goes right through the silk screen. Just want to get the tip of that Y there. So simple to use. The ink is a little intimidating because when you hear ink and you know it's permanent, but don't let it intimidate you. It's pretty dang easy to use it. And also the nice thing with the ink is the time that you have to do the project is a little longer. Where with the chalk paste, you have to work kind of quickly. The ink is a little more forgiving. I just want to get the tip of that. I always miss the very edges of my letters, so I'm just trying to be extra careful to make sure that I am covering everything. Hello, Kristen! So we're just making sure that we're getting everything covered for our pillowcase. I am going, I know I just said left and right, but I'm a little concerned. I don't want to go off of my transfer and get ink where there shouldn't be ink. So let's just, that's why I went that direction. Typically I do just go up and down with ink or left and right. Hello there, how are you? Hope you're having a great Monday. Okay, so now I think we got everything covered. And again, when working with ink, you always want to make sure that you don't have any of it on your fingers. So I'm going to just get any excess that I have on my squeegee right back into my jar. And this is actually a 2-ounce jar. This is how old this ink is. This was back when Couture sold ink and paste in 2-ounce jars. So you can see, and I've done a lot of projects with this little 2-ounce jar. So I'm just going to be very careful not to get it on my fingers. So we definitely want to check our fingers before we pull back, because if you have ink anywhere and you touch, you're going to get a blob of ink somewhere. So just have to be sure there's no ink. And then when you're peeling the transfer back, I'm just holding the surface down, going right through. And I just realized I forgot a critical piece, but I got very lucky tonight. And I'll tell you what the critical piece was that I forgot. I forgot to put a barrier in here. I had my ink mat literally sitting on the floor next to me, and did I put it in there? No, I completely forgot. But it's okay. Typically when you are inking, you do want to have a barrier so that you don't have any bleed through, and when I leaned on the side of the desk, I just got ink on my finger. So I'm just getting that ink off. It does come off with a little water, so no worries if you do get it on your hands. But yeah, big dummy here. Big dummy Monday evening moment where I inked without putting my ink mat in there. You can certainly use a piece of cardboard too. Our ink mats are perfect. They look like this, and you can see I've used mine quite a bit. They are sticky, so when you do insert that in there, it helps to keep the surface, if you're using a pillow or a t-shirt, it helps to keep it from moving around. But clearly I forgot to use it tonight, so lesson learned. No harm, no foul. It did not, I'm looking through, it did not bleed through, because I actually do have a different design on the back of my pillow, which I'll show you in a second. What I want to do though is I want to make sure that this is nice and dry. So I'm just going to go ahead and heat it. This does not make it permanent. This is merely drying the ink. We need to have the ink good and dry before we go ahead to our next step, which is heat sealing it. You can heat set it with an iron or with an easy press if you have one of those. An iron would be on a cotton setting, and you would iron it front and back for 4 minutes. If you have an easy press, you just turn it to 340. That's why it sounds like my hair dryer is about to dry here, because I have my heat press plugged into the same plug, and it's taking a lot of the energy out of my dryer. But if you have the heat press, it's on 340, and it would be for 30 seconds front and back. So I just want to make sure that this ink is good and dry. For both heating methods, either the iron or the heat press, you want to make sure that you're using a piece of parchment paper as your barrier between the iron or your heat press, so that you don't get any ink or anything, especially if it's not fully dry. I feel like that's pretty darn good. And had I remembered to put the ink mat in there, had I remembered that, you obviously want to make sure you're taking that out before you start drying. So I feel like we're pretty good. Everything feels nice and dry. So let me grab my parchment paper, which is right here. Just going to lay that on top. And then we have our heat press ready to go. It is at the 340. I'm just going to set it right on top and then press to go. And it will very quickly make this permanent with our heat press. I don't particularly like move the heat press around. I just leave it sit and do its business and heat set away, and then we're good. Now I want to say, let me just take a peek. Yes, I'm going to need to do it twice because the top up here isn't fully covered by the heat press. So I'm just going to do it twice just to make sure. I'm going to just move it up just a little bit to catch the top there. 30 seconds feels like forever when you're live. I apologize. It's like watching water boil, but I just want you guys to see this from beginning to end. I always like to show a completed project. And then, let me just set this aside. We're going to turn this inside out. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, when we turn it inside out, this is going to be a little hot, so just be careful. Usually just grab it by the corners and flip like that. Now, what I want to do is just in case on the off chance that it may have still been wet. I don't want it to bleed through, so I'm going to put that parchment paper inside this time. Okay, because now we're doing the inside, and we're going to do the same exact thing. You can see it really didn't bleed through even though it was black, so that was pretty good. I'm going to try to get it a little more centered, so maybe I can do this just once. I think we're good. All right, so we'll do one more time on the inside, and then I'll show you what it looks like with the, sorry that I put my big fat head in there. I hate when my camera's up so high. I always forget and I put my big fat head in the way every time. So let's just let this finish. It's almost done. So I hope everybody's having a great night so far. It's actually almost over. I had my dinner already, and now it's project time, and then it's relax time. So we are done. We can turn this off. Move that off to the side. And how fast was this project tonight, guys? So easy. Again, be careful when you're flipping it because it is going to be hot inside there. So we're just going to flip it around. And what I did was, like I said in the beginning, I actually had another design on the back, but it's kind of cool. This is one of our old transfers. This is my very first ink project on the side. This is our rustic wreath, and then the grow old along with me, the best is yet to be. So tonight's is going to be this, and I'm just going to go ahead and stick my little pillow insert back inside, and then I can flip it around to either side, whatever mood I'm in that day. I can flip it to either side. So that's pretty awesome. Let's get this stuffed in here. There we go. Just have to straighten it out a little bit. And then once we get this in here, sorry, I'm a perfectionist. I want it to look right. Okay. There we go. Tuck the tag in and zip it up across the bottom. And there we go, guys. Look, oh dearie, not going anywhere. Isn't that super cute? Love it. So that is our one side, and this was my old project that I did as soon as ink came out, which was probably about, I'm thinking about a year ago. So now I can flip it to either side. Super fun, super cute. Okay, so let us finish, because I want to always show you guys a project from finish to end. So, I always have this little dollar store pan right off to the side, and as I'm working, I throw everything right into my pan. And then I've got some old kitchen towels here that are perfect. So I'm just going to slide this up a tad. And then, you see that when I put the transfer in here, the water starts to turn black from the ink, and it actually starts to help to get the ink out of there. I'm just going to use my board eraser to kind of help it along a little bit more, to clean off the front of the transfer with the board eraser. And then I just want to I got a little bit more over here on this side. And then I bring it down onto the towel with the sticky side, which obviously it's not sticky right now because it's wet, not sticky at all. I just get my squeegee out of here. We'll clean this too. I just love the board erasers for this. It makes it so much easier to clean it very nicely. Okay, so then we'll leave our squeegee there. We can move this back off to the side. So, because I use black, and I think if you guys have watched some of my videos before, you know that usually when I use the board eraser, that's all I use. But when I use a darker chalk paste or ink, I do like to do or if the transfer feels like it's losing its sticky a little, I will do the final step with a disinfectant wipe. All I'm doing is using just a regular old paper towel just to get rid of some of the excess water from the back. And then I will come in with my disinfectant wipe, which I have right here, and we're going to flip it and start on the front side first. And remember, it's okay if you have some staining. I used the black velvet ink. It will stain. It's not a big deal. It's not staining my silkscreen. It's just staining the actual transfer. So it's okay. No worries. And you'll see it's already starting to get sticky again. See how it's sticking to my towel? Just from getting that excess water off the back, it starts to get sticky again. But what I'd like to do is also use the disinfectant wipe on the back, and that helps to get any fibers that I picked up from the actual pillow. Or if I were using paste on a chalkboard, for example, I want to get, and I fuzzed it, I want to try to get some of that fuzz back off. So now we're not sticky again, and I've got a piece of hair that I need to get off of there. There we go. So once I let that sit and dry for just a few, it'll only take a few seconds. Just clean up my desk. Get all that water. I'm a messy. I get water all over the place on my walls. Okay, so now here comes back into play the carrier sheet. So remember, we labeled the back. That's the paper side, and this is the shiny side. Oops, I got some water. Jeez, I get water everywhere. So that's the shiny side. You want the sticky side of the transfer to go on here. So that's why we label it. So what I typically do is just try to line it up while it's on the towel. It seems to be the easiest. I've tried a couple different ways, and this seems to be the best. I just use my finger to kind of guide it back on like so, and then smooth it out. And then I like to flip it just to make sure there aren't any bubbles in there. Just get all those bubbles out of there and get it back onto its carrier sheet, nice and smooth. And the nice part is all of the instructions for care and use of our transfers are always on the back of every transfer that you purchase. It's nice to keep this handy because I want to keep this back in here. I want to store it, you know, room temperature in a flat storage container of some kind. So that way I can use this transfer again. I might want to make a shirt out of that. I might want to make a chalkboard. I could make a coordinating chalkboard so that I've got my pillow and a chalkboard hanging on the wall, and they coordinate, and just maybe change it out to a different color on my chalkboard. The options are honestly limitless. It's just using your imagination. So whatever you can come up with. You could take you could take worry from here. Well, maybe not. You could take more and add it to another transfer, come up with another word or another sentence. So many different options. I'm just throwing out a few right now off the top of my head. So that was it. That was tonight's project from beginning to end. I hope that you enjoyed. And if you did and you're not already a designer and you wouldn't mind hitting that share button right down there in the bottom left hand of your mobile device, I would truly appreciate that. And if you think that maybe you would like to become a designer and earn commission by having a team, or just do workshops and sip and chalk parties, or just create your own masterpieces to sell, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. And just type join below, and I'll get back to you about that. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your Friday night, and I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of tomorrow's project. I actually picked these up in the Target dollar spot. So this is I'm going to do something super cute, something super summery on this cute little, it looks like a sandwich board, I guess. But, yep, it was in the $3 Target spot. So I'm going to create something on there tomorrow that's super cute and fun for summer. So stay tuned tomorrow for that. Anywhere, sometimes usually between like 6:30ish and 8 o'clock. That's usually when I come on live. So thanks so much, guys. I will talk to you all later. Enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe out there. Bye.